feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright. Echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Good to be back on this Friday night, Saturday afternoon here in Australia. Good to be back on it's getting close to Christmas now. We're getting real close, really close now. It's like 4 or 5 days away. How are you all going out there? Good to see you. Me and Mrs. Ping have been everywhere. Oh, that's great. Oh, hey, my cat ripped down the camera. She's lying under the computer and she grabbed the cord and ripped down the camera just as we were like going live. Um Jeez, bloody cats. Yeah, she's sleeping under the under the computer. What is this? Oh, this is interesting. Convicted killer. So we know who Jordan Vandersloot is. He is another jerk who we've spoken about a lot. Been involved in a couple of women's death over the years. I want to tell you about this. Very interesting. He's been convicted and in jail for a while now, and there's been a ton of documentaries done on him in relation to missing women. One they've never found. Beth Holloway. You may know Beth Holloway. According to this information here, just while we get set up, uh, they're saying Vandersloot was on Friday found with a piece of blanket tied around his neck, according to prison officials, claimed he was near death when officials found him. However, while under S-word watch following the incident, Vandersloot was able to sit down with a film crew and talk about his depression and his time as what he's been dubbed the toughest prison in the world. All I can say to that is suck shit, and that is your own fault. Get fucked. I just don't care. I don't care if you're depressed in prison. Your own actions brought you there in the killing of Beth Holloway. I mean, no one gives an absolute shit about you. No one. I just can't stand when these prisoners are all like, you're freaking depressed now. Don't kill people. Is it that hard? Is it that hard? That, don't rate, R word women, drag them on a beach and then kill them and put them in the surf. You won't be so depressed because you won't be in jail. It's a pretty simple equation. It's a pretty simple equation. Oh, little baby's depressed. We should all send him some FU letters to show him how much we care. What an absolute sook. What an absolute sook that guy is. Um, I can tell you, us out here in the free world enjoying Christmas and the lead up to Christmas, are thinking very little about you. So there you go. Yeah, found in he's in stable condition, was able to speak to a film crew about his life behind bars. He said, "Every day I see that the situation is getting worse for us inmates. You can't be with your family, you can't touch them or hug them. That's the whole point of prison. That is the whole point of being behind bars. It's a deprivation of your liberty. You know, they said you're quite a smart guy in the trial and things like that. Suddenly, you can't comprehend what a prison is. It's funny to me. Yeah, Vandersloot is currently serving 28 years for the death of Stephanie Flores of Peru. A judge added another 18 years to his sentence for drug trafficking. Also in 2023, officials extradited him to Alabama, where a U.S. District Court judge later sentenced him to 20 years for extorting Natalie Holloway, Natalie's mom, Beth. So he was trying to extort her, and what he did was he kept trying to say, "I know where she is. I'll give her up. You just give me all this money, and I'll show you where the body is. You'll be able to take her home." And that's what they ended up extraditing him to Alabama for basically holding the family over a barrel with false hope. Their daughter, unfortunately, I think they believe is long gone, was pushed into the ocean, and they don't believe they'll ever recover her. And he tried to manipulate the family and tried to get money out of them. So spare me when you go to a prison crew and whinge about your life in a Peru jail. I'm sure the family of Stephanie and Beth you know, I'm sure they're concerned for your welfare right now, because, you know, I could imagine they're very terribly concerned about what's going on to you inside a jail. Um, Linux says crime that went under the radar this week. Aussie crook former MP Craig Thompson got 2 more years in jail for fraud with civil funds. Craig Thompson, yeah, I did see that, but I've not done a lot of work on that type of thing. Kim says, kind of like BK and his complaining. You know, I actually know his daughter a little bit. We've talked a couple of times, and I really should reach out to her again and see how she's doing. She did a great documentary earlier this year. She is a very nice lady. I need to reach out to her again and see what's up, see what she's up to. She is a very kind lady. Hold on. All right. Proves they can't think ahead. Yeah, I'ma kill this woman. I'm not gonna think about what the next 25 to life is gonna be like. I'm gonna live in the moment. I'm gonna live in the moment of murder. That's what I'm gonna do. And then when I finally get to jail, I'm gonna I'm gonna complain about the conditions. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna complain about how crap it is inside of a jail. It's meant to be crap. Like that's the whole point of jail. It's not meant to be like a hotel room. You're not supposed to be there ordering like room service, hanging out and being like, "Oh, my family's coming to visit today, coming to my hotel room in the prison." It doesn't work that way. It's supposed to be a punishment for breaking our society's laws. And Vandersloot, what a great name for a horrible person, Vandersloot. It just sounds like something nasty. You're like, oh, not again. I Vanderslooted everywhere. Oh no, so much Vandersloot everywhere. It sounds like such a horrible thing. I'm sort of glad that he has that last name. um yeah, so where is he? The Chalapa Chalapalca prison. Where the F is that? Ping doesn't know. Probably some horrible prison in Peru. Apparently it's high altitude too. Interesting. It's a high altitude prison. Conditions of detention. Apparently the University of Minnesota did a paper on it. What are they saying here? They're saying there is a lack of human rights and deprivation of liberty in prison, which means both men and women suffer a variety of grave human rights violations. Okay. Don't kill people in Peru then. I mean, you know, you don't want to go to that jail, don't break the law. I think no one is that upset. So apparently the conditions are so bad in that prison that the University of Minnesota wrote a paper about it. They say a special report on the human rights situation at the Chalapalca prison, Department of Tacna, Republic of Peru. So they did this whole report on it that you guys can see, saying that it breaks several like conventions around human rights. But they all say that. I think if you find a prison anywhere in the world that someone doesn't claim it breaches human rights, I would like to know about that particular prison because I'm pretty sure all of them have complaints about human rights in all of them. Because I think if you go to like the Human Rights Council, even putting people in prison is against human rights. Like detaining people for like their life is against like the international human rights thing. So you're not even supposed to do that. So Sweden, I heard they're pretty hard though. Like while they're like the amenities are really good, I heard it's still a pretty rough prison. Danny said Ping always makes me laugh. Yeah. Good to see you guys. Gail said those women didn't get their human rights. I know, right? Who's sticking up for them? Well, we are because we're laughing at their murderer. And I hope you know, hope he's nice and snug tonight in his deprivation of liberty cell that apparently breaches human rights. I hope it is a lovely evening in the Chalapalca prison. And here he is. Do you guys remember this? He has the worst chrome dome I've ever seen. Look at this thing. I feel sorry for his mother's vagina. Look at that thing. That mum had to push that bowling ball out of her lady parts. I mean, that poor mum. That poor lady, she had to do that. Look at that thing. That thing, if you put it on the end of a chain, you could bring down buildings. You could bring down buildings and demolish things like a wrecking ball. Yeah, prize cup, a little bit, a little bit. Espion said my cats are being naughty too. First real snow in ages and they are freaking out. My cats freak out at rain apparently. They're like, oh my god, it's raining. Things are happening. Let's run around. Linux says Australia's prison used to be harder. Pentridge in the 80s had a H division, Hell division. Yeah, there's a lot of stories out of Pentridge. A lot of documentaries have been done. A lot of past prisoners have been told stories about what it was like in the 70s and 80s. Same with Silverwater in Sydney. Silverwater in Sydney was a bad one. It's had a notorious history. So there you go. Vandersloot almost disappeared from this world. I don't think any of us would have been sad if he did. I think we're all like, oh, he didn't? Oh, how sad. We almost got to have a party. Damn. So I don't think anyone's sad about Vandersloot and his best friend. His best friend apparently is a towel that he wraps around his neck. So there you go. Apparently, the guards intervened while serving inmates their breakfast on December 12th. On December 12th. Well, there you go. He's got another 24 years to go before he'll be extradited to America to do another 20 years in an American jail. So he's not getting out anytime soon. His blankie, that's probably what he calls it. That's probably what he calls it. All right, let's see what else we got on our update list. I thought I'd bring you that one because, well, why not? What else do we have on my updates? Oh, that's not good. I seem to remember this one. Let's have a look. All right, that's very sad, especially around the Christmas time right now, with all the sad things that have happened this week. There has been a result in this one: drowning of mother and 3-year-old in Sumter County, determined to be a murder S word. That is never what we want to hear about. They're saying this happened back in September 21. They said that they went missing. 32-year-old Shadi McGill and her child were last believed to be in Jackson, Mississippi, Sunday, September 21, before her vehicle was found in the found in the adjacent to the Tombigbee River Tuesday, September 23. And they're saying that was in Sumter County. Here, let's see. Both bodies were taken to the Alabama Department of Forensic Services, where they were confirmed to be the bodies of McGill and her child. Terrible. There's a photo of mother and child. You ask what made the mom do that? Why she felt the need? That was her only way out. That is pretty horrific, if you ask me. Pretty horrific. Let me see. I want to play something from it. I want to know more about Shadi McGill. Why she felt the need to do that. Let's see. We go here.
We've got a heartbreaking update from the First Alert Desk on a story out of Sumter County that we first brought you in September. Aaliyah releasing new information on the death investigation of a mother and her 3-year-old daughter found in the Tombigbee River. Investigators now calling it a murder-suicide. 32-year-old Shardy McGill and her 3-year-old daughter Janae were first reported missing from Jackson, Mississippi in September. Authorities discovering Shardy McGill's car near the Tombigbee River. Then just days later, her body was found in the river in the Epps area. Just one day later, little Janae's body was also found. Authorities now saying they believe McGill drowned her daughter Janae before drowning herself and that no other suspects are involved. Interim Jackson Police Chief Tyree Jones telling Gray Media in September that McGill's husband was taken in for questioning, but he was later released. From the First Alert Desk, I'm Taylor Pollock.
Sit right there. Stat Brothers tells us that one of their drivers, quick thinking, helped save this boy.
So that is pretty sad. Child believed us is her. I really don't know. Oh, so this is back when it happened. They said they found an adult body in the river before finding. Yeah, that's what they said in the video too. That they found the mom before they found the child. But now, after investigation for the last 3 months, I'm guessing their autopsy finally came back complete, along with toxicology. Takes about 3 months, which would fit the timeline from September to now. If you think about it, 21st of September to now, it's the 19th in America. Yeah, that's about 3 months. And it seems like they're saying they believe the mother killed the child and then left this world. That is how horrible for her family around this time of year to get that kind of news. I put my heartfelt condolences out to everyone who knew Sade and her little baby. And I hope they, I don't know, get more answers as to why she felt the need to do that. It's really sad. Kathy said, family party tomorrow. Must go to sleep. Check your email. All right, I will. Thanks. Good to see you, my friend. I will check my email. I check sometimes my email. Oh, you want me to show this? Okay, I can do that. Sorry, I didn't see it. But yes, I see it now. All right. She wants me to show you this. She wants me, on this channel, we sometimes have a bit of fun, like we did before with Vandersloot. We like to have a bit of fun and poke a little bit of fun at things that, people that make spelling mistakes, even though I can tell you Ping makes all the spelling errors all the time, even in my titles, even in my thumbnails. So if I make fun of you, please don't take it personally because I do it every day. But Kathy sent me something from around her area, and it's an invitation. It's an invitation to come and enjoy Christmas. Although I'm confused about when they would like us to come and do this Christmas Eve. When is Christmas Eve again? I don't think it is in Dekmeba. Is it in Dekmeba? I don't know if it is in Dekmeba. I've never heard of this month of the year. It might be an alternate dimension time frame. But apparently, join us Christmas Eve, Dekmeba 24 at 4 p.m. So if you need to celebrate in the community, you can head there as long as you know what month December is. Yeah, Ping is dyslexic, and even I can spot the spelling mistake in that one. So, yeah, there you go. That is from Kathy Lynch. She says here, she said, I think the church could have refused to pay for a banner that was printed incorrectly. And she said maybe it was to draw attention to the church in a comedic effect. And maybe she's right. Maybe it was. But there you go. Some holiday funny for you. Hey, Moonshadow, how are you, my friend? Mandela effect. It is a little bit, right? Or is it dismember? Maybe they're giving us a clue. Maybe there's a body hidden nearby. And they're like, join us Christmas Eve for the dismembering. We're going to dismember someone at 4 p.m. We'll draw a name out of a hat, and then we'll dismember someone at 4 p.m. Come at 4 p.m. Put your name into a hat. Maybe you'll get dismembered. Uh, that's pretty funny. I think that is hilarious. I hope people turn up and ask for their for a shirt with that on it. That would be funny as hell. Good night, Kathy. Have fun with your family tomorrow. You're afraid to go to the event? All right. Espionage says, "What? That's what we live. That's what we live you. Yes, live you. I blame spell check and autocorrect." Kathleen said, "Ping. That's what my husband first thought. Yeah, it's pretty funny." Linux says, "Sounds like one of the chapel quests in the game Oblivion. Come to us on Dickmember, and be dismembered." That would be a great catchphrase for a serial killer trying to attract people in December. They're like, nobody wants to be killed in December. We have to put signs up to try and find people who are willing to be dismembered. All right. What else do we have on my update list for today? I think we have a couple. Not that one. All right. Let's head to Florida. Have you ever are you a divorced person in life? Do you have ex-partners, like an ex-wife or an ex-husband? Have you ever wanted to kill them? Do you have multiple ex-partners and you've wanted to kill them both in the same day? Well, Susan Avalon has. Susan Avalon has apparently killed 2 ex-husbands in one day on Wednesday of this week. Apparently, they're saying here deputies arrested her after they were called to a home in Bradenton, Florida, and found a 54-year-old man suffering from a gunshot wound. He was taken to hospital where he later died, but told investigators before he died that someone knocked on his door and shot him when he answered, and that it may have been his ex-wife. The victim's 15-year-old daughter and Avalon's biological child was home at the time. She didn't see the shooting, although she heard the gunshots and saw a silver Honda Odyssey drive away. Detectives learned that the shooter had stolen food from a Panera Bread and took it to the Bradenton home, opening fire immediately when the victim opened the door. Manatee County Sheriff says it doesn't get any more brazen than this. I want to. She was obviously on a mission. Obviously on a mission. So Avalon has been arrested. It's that man before he died literally went, "It's my ex-wife." I mean, that's something you like see out of CSI Miami or something, and they're like, "What did the victim say before he died?" He said ABS, and they're like, "What does that mean?" You'll find out after the break. And then they break it down and they're like, that's the name of his ex-wife. We have to go check it out. All right. I want to take you to the sheriff's office. I want to hear more about this. They did a press conference yesterday, but it's from the MCSO, Manatee County. And let's have a look. Let's go to it. Let's learn about this woman who steals from Panera Bread and then shoots ex-husbands.
Some events that happened yesterday afternoon. So yesterday at about 2:55 p.m., we received a call of a shooting that took place in the Heritage Harbor neighborhood here in Manatee County, which is right off of State Road 64. Deputies arrived within just a few minutes. The victim at the time is still alert and is speaking to us. And one of the questions that the deputies asked him is, who could have done this to you? And he says, possibly my ex-wife. So the detectives arrive on scene. We start the investigation. The only other person that was in the house at the time of the shooting was the victim's 15-year-old daughter. She does not see the shooting. She hears shots being fired. There were a total of 3 shots fired. The victim was shot once in the abdomen. She looks out the window and she sees a vehicle, which is a Avalon. It's a silver Honda Odyssey vehicle. I'm sorry, it's an Odyssey. So she sees this vehicle driving off. Now I want you to understand how traumatized she is. She has no idea what's going on, but she's able to give us this information, and she also is able to tell us that the person that got into that car was wearing a gray sweatshirt and a mask. Detectives really start to dig into what happened, and what they learn is the suspect arrives at the location with Panera Bread food. There's some broccoli soup and some other items, and when this victim opens the door, the suspect starts to fire immediately. So they go to a local Panera Bread location, which is about a mile and a half from the scene, and they see the suspect enter the Panera Bread, go to where the food delivery stand is located, where Uber Eats and DoorDash, goes to that location at Panera Bread, grabs some food, and leaves. Doesn't pay for it.
I want to know how she sat down and was like, right, before I kill my ex-husband, I have to go to Panera Bread and steal an order from a DoorDash driver. I'm going to go in there and steal some bread and soup. So I look like a delivery driver at the house. I mean, we laugh, but she was successful. She killed the guy. So, I mean, we can laugh, but she actually did what she set out to do. It's just a really weird way of doing it. You're just like, yes, got the firearm, yes. Got the disguise, yes. Got the car that doesn't look like my car, yes. Got a planning document that they'll find later to convict me, yes, got that. All right, we have to go to Panera Bread. I mean, it is Florida, but
It's not hers. She just decides this is going to be her way to the front door. We have a license plate reader that picks up the suspect's car. So the detectives start to dig, what kind of car does the ex-wife have? Now, mind you, the suspect and the victim have been divorced 11 years. There are some custody issues involved in this divorce.
11 years. 11. It's not even like a recent breakup and divorce. You're not like, I hate that guy. He divorced me or whatever and left me with nothing. You've been alive longer than it takes to birth a child and send that child to middle school. And you're still like, oh, I'm gonna kill that mother effer one day. I'm gonna get some Panera Bread. I'm gonna get a firearm. And I'm gonna shoot this guy. Not today. Not tomorrow. 11 years from now. That's when I'm gonna do it. 11 years from now. Why? Like, it's gonna take me a while to save up. I'm gonna have to get all this done. Like, what goes through someone's mind that they hold a grudge for 11 years that results in murder. It's I don't get people like this. I mean, I don't get it.
Divorced long ago. There seems to be issues with child support. The suspect owes the victim about $4,000 that we find out in child support. So she becomes our primary target, and she, ironically, owns a silver Honda Odyssey. We pick her up coming across the Skyway on LPR. We pick her up on an LPR heading back to Citrus County, which is where she lives. We pick her up in Hernando County after the shooting. So we travel to this location in Citrus County. Now the suspect is Susan Erica Avalon. She's the ex-wife of our victim. Like I said, 10 years, 11 years. She lives in Citrus County. He lives in Manatee County. Really no law enforcement interaction between the two that we can find.
Hey, I have a mugshot of this woman, of the perpetrator here. Let me just throw it up on the screen for a sec. This is the woman here. This is Susan, who is alleged to have killed one husband and possibly involved in the death of another of her ex-husbands on the same day. I mean, it's a pretty big coincidence. One ex-husband is dead. Okay. Two ex-husbands die on the exact same day. Bit strange. So they're still investigating the other husband's death. If you're wondering where the second husband comes from, they are still looking into the second one. Marlene said, ping on Valentine's Day, animal shelters run special for donations. Fix your ex better than... That's pretty funny. I didn't know they did that. She's a white widow. If they can prove that she did the second one, yeah, she is, definitely. But why on the same day? Did something happen where she was just like, okay, it's time. I am going to finally become my final form, and that is a murderer. It's very odd. Now, when she was arrested, in my documents that I have here, apparently she was spouting off about all sorts of allegations about her ex-husband, including saying that he was molesting one of the children that they shared together, and that he was this and that, and he didn't pay his child support, and then he was all this type of thing. And apparently this is all she really cared about when she was picked up. She just wanted to know that people knew that he was a deadbeat father, basically. That's basically what she wanted the authorities to know. And she claimed that he was abusing sexually one of the children that they shared together. I'll bring you more on that in a minute. I can't find a lot of proof about what she's saying about it, but apparently she was shouting about these allegations. Yeah, she starts to make comments that he's a child abuser, that he's a molester. She just starts talking about all these problems she had with her ex-husband. She thinks we're from Hillsborough County. She thinks my detectives are Hillsborough County detectives. Detectives are trying to figure out what she's talking about, almost like she was dobbing herself in. The detectives that were talking to her were from Manatee County, not Hillsborough County. Hillsborough County is where the other ex-husband died. So she was almost like dobbing herself in to authorities. Interesting.
So we get to the house in Citrus County and we see her car. The car that we believe is the vehicle involved in this homicide. We sit waiting for Citrus County to assist us. We're writing the search warrant, doing all the necessary paperwork that we have to do to be able to go into this home and talk to the suspect. She comes out. She comes out of the house with bleach and cleaning rags. gets into the silver Odyssey and begins to wipe down the car. We approach her. Detectives let her know that they are there to speak about her ex-husband. She says, which one? We only know of one.
Talk about leaking the truth. You know, we talk about with people who commit crimes, how they leak the truth and you should believe them when they say something. This one, yes, very much so. Detectives approach them and she's like, which one? Well done. Well done. Slow clap for you. That is funny. Fun. If it wasn't a murder, this would be a comical situation. But unfortunately, 2 men died. Yeah, I heard that I heard in the video that she said she owed him money, but she was claiming the opposite, that they owed her money and that they were deadbeat fathers and accusing one of them of being a sex offender against their daughter. The daughter was in the house with the father and there was police there. She didn't say anything like that. So, and she's old enough to talk. I mean, she's 15. And yeah,
She starts to make comments that he's a child abuser, he's a molester, just talking about all these problems that she's had with this ex-husband. She thinks we're there from Hillsborough County. She thinks my detectives are Hillsborough County detectives. Detectives are trying to figure out exactly what she's talking about, where is she going. They talk to her live-in boyfriend who says that recently she found the location of our victim. She told him yesterday that in case something happens to her, that she loves him and she just wanted him to know that. He said that was kind of out of character for her. We start to dig into this second ex-husband that we know nothing about. And we find that she was married again after the marriage to our victim, and that this ex-husband lives in Tampa. So we send detectives to Tampa. We have Tampa PD look for this location that we've determined in Hillsborough County. Tampa PD goes to this location, and the person who lives there, this ex-husband, doesn't answer. We make contact with them again. We say, hey, we're hearing that she's got issues. She's got beef with both these ex-husbands. Please, search hard. They do. They find that there's damage to the rear door. Tampa PD goes into this residence in Tampa. This second ex-husband has also been shot and killed. And what we find out is we're talking to the live-in boyfriend is that when she returns home, she is wearing that gray sweatshirt that we see on the camera. She goes into the shower with the clothes on. She doesn't say anything to him about killing her two ex-husbands. She just tries to clean up and get rid of any evidence inside the car that she can.
the live-in boyfriend doesn't seem to be trying to protect her very much, does he? He's like, oh, yeah, she came in here, was like dripping in blood and stuff, or, hopped into the shower in her clothes and was wearing all the. He was not trying to protect her. He wasn't like, I don't know what she did. I didn't see her. She was here at some point. He was giving them all the details. Maybe he's like, ah, shit, maybe I'm next. She's already killed 2 of her ex-partners today. If I don't take this opportunity to dob her in right now, I might be the 3rd one in 24 hours. I think he was worried that he might be the next victim of hers. Yeah, he didn't protect her at all. He was just like, here's all the information you could ever want to know about what she was doing in the last 24 hours. Pretty interesting.
And before we finally detain her. We don't know why yesterday was the day that she decided to take this action. But what we believe happened is that she left Citrus County that morning. She traveled into Hillsborough County. She killed the first victim, which is her second ex-husband. She came across the Skyway into Manatee County. She went to the Panera Bread where she took the items that we discussed and went to her second ex-husband's or her first ex-husband's home, the second victim, and knocked on the door and shot him. And that's what we know right now. So we are waiting. We're working with Tampa PD. They are investigating their homicide. Our detectives are working with them to make sure that we have all the information they need and they have any information from us that they need. So we're still working this. It's an active investigation. She's been charged with second-degree homicide with the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. I don't know what Tampa is going to charge her with. We will be seeking the death penalty with a first-degree homicide charge on her. We'll work with the state attorney to convene a grand jury to see that happens. But
wow, they are not messing around. Convening a grand jury on the hope of getting her on first-degree homicide to push through on a death penalty case. They think they have her dead to right, which is an awful saying, but there you go. Yeah, she is in big trouble. The fact that Manatee County is already seeking out this type of arrangement, it may be that she doesn't even make it to Tampa County. She may not even make it out of Manatee County system in the courtroom to face that second charge. So interesting that they are pushing forward to try get first degree. They're saying here he says second degree murder. I see it here as she's been charged with first degree murder. So maybe that grand jury was already convened to get that higher charge. But yeah, it says here that the first guy, 54-year-old man, was suffering from 2 gunshot wounds. He was shot once in the abdomen, and unfortunately, he passed away. They're saying here, yeah, basically, she left her sort of digital fingerprint all over Florida and were able to track her through the traffic system in Florida. So once they knew what type of car they were looking for and the license plate, they used their sort of electronic system to track her all throughout Florida and find out where she went on that day, including to the Panera Bread, including over the Skyway Bridge. And they basically got everything they ever needed to know about her. Let's see here. They're saying here she told her live-in boyfriend that in case something happens to her, she loves him and she just wanted him to know that. He said that was kind of out of character for her. They said we start to dig into this second ex-husband that we know nothing about, and we find that she was married again after she was married to our victim, and this particular ex-husband lived in Tampa. They say Tampa police went to that ex-husband's home but didn't get an answer at the door. She's saying she's got beef with both of these ex-husbands. Tampa police discovered damage to the man's door and saw that he had been shot and killed inside of the home. Like they said, detectives don't know why yesterday was the day that she decided to take this type of action. I think that would be, I don't know if you'll ever get an answer to it, but that would be a great thing to know. Like, why yesterday of all days? Why the 18th of December? Why that particular day that you felt the need to go out there and kill 2 men that you had been separated for from a number of years? And that you had now moved on with another relationship. You had a live-in boyfriend. So why did you need to go back and do this? I don't know if we'll ever get an answer to that particular question, but you know, they say the crazy things happen in Florida. Well, they're not wrong because this is pretty mental. She just looks like any middle-aged woman. It is shocking sometimes who commits these type of crimes. They are often people you don't think are sort of, you know, the type. But there you go, a very normal looking, everyday Floridian woman and decided to commit double homicide of her ex-husbands on the same day. Crazy from the heat? Yeah, it could be. It could be. Let me see if I can find anything else about her. I wonder if they've charged her for the other husband yet. I don't believe so.
Happening on Chatham Light Run. Deputies identifying 51-year-old Susan Avalon as the person of interest. She was found at her home in Citrus County last night. So far, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office not revealing the name of the victim, but we know he was a 54-year-old man. Investigators believe this was a targeted attack. The Sheriff's Department holding a news conference at 11 o'clock this morning. Our Ellie Davis will be there and have a live report on ABC 7 News at noon.
So nothing in that one about what happened to the other ex-husband. I really did want to know that. By the way, that was one of the coolest press conferences I've ever seen for this type of thing. There was no 20 people standing behind him. There was no pats on the back. It was just come sit down at my desk and let me tell you a story. That was one of the greatest press conferences I think I've seen. Really, that's how they all should be. You know, just the facts of what happened and let the media do their job. Not these ones we have like 50 people and they all want to take like questions and like last night with the Brown shooting. That was brutal. That press conference that went on for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and most of it was like answering repetitive questions to the point the journalists started getting angry and they were starting to like lob really angry questions towards the authorities. That was one of the worst press conferences I've ever seen, that one. And yeah, that was terrible. That was a really awful press conference. You liked it? It was exciting for the viewers, not so much for anyone else. Um, Chipmunk said a few minutes for an update. Yeah, it should be like just tell us the facts of the case and go away. That should be it. Let's see. 35 people talking. Yeah, there was a lot of people at that one last night. Brutal. All right, let's listen to there's a couple more minutes on this one with the press conference with Rick Wells, the sheriff. I want to listen to it just so we can hear everything about this woman.
That's where we're at right now. Any questions?
So Avalon is accused of shooting and killing both of her
Yep.
husbands yesterday.
Susan Avalon is accused of killing two of her ex-husbands yesterday. First in Hillsborough County and then coming into Manatee County and killing our victim.
Do you have any idea? I know you talked about child support. They were estranged. Any idea why she might have done this?
Yeah, I don't know why yesterday was the day. We know that she had a current court hearing with our victim in October about child support. She was not paying the child support that she was court ordered to pay. Like I said, she owed about $4,000 in back child support. I think she was supposed to pay $200 before a certain date in December, or they were going to suspend her driver's license. But other than that, we don't really know.
You said that there was nothing that you could find, at least on any law enforcement interaction with the husband, her ex-husband. Does she have any sort of history?
We do have some prior cases. She had a case in Virginia, and we'll get that to you. We back in 2004, she had a child abuse arrest in Virginia. and she had some cases dropped that were child abuse related in Tampa and Pasco County. But other than that, nothing really extensive. It was all related to child custody and some type of child abuse cases that she had going on at the time with her ex-husbands.
And was the 15-year-old her child?
It was.
I'm going to ask how brazen this crime was that happened broad daylight in Manatee County, 3 p.m. People were around.
It doesn't get any more brazen than this. This is a very active neighborhood. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday. Kids coming home from school. A lot of activity, as you could imagine, right, in that area. So she didn't seem to care.
That's a good point. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, there's like mums doing school runs. There's kids cycling home. There's people going about their day. To carry out such a brutal murder is odd timing. Yeah, like she didn't care. They did give out a lot of info on this one. Chipmunk said she cared so much for her daughter. The fact that the 15-year-old daughter was inside of the home when she committed the crime tells me that, like, what if a stray bullet had gone through the house? What if the child had been standing behind the dad? Like, she didn't take any time to figure that out because as soon as he answered the door, like, she fired. So she wouldn't know if her daughter was right behind him or next to him or in a room behind him. There's no way she could know that. What if she killed her daughter too? Yeah, we all love a dumb criminal. She is definitely our dumb criminal of the week. Moonshadow said she was an ex having to pay child support for a reason. She was the deadbeat. Yeah, but it's interesting. When she was arrested, she was trying to paint her ex-partner as the deadbeat parent, but it sounds like it was her. When you get to the point that they want to suspend your driver's license because you haven't paid child support, you're the deadbeat because they give you a lot of chances before you get to the point of suspending a license. So she must not have paid for a long, long time. Hey, Robert, good to see you. Danny said, so sad for the 15-year-old. Now what, the poor baby? I hope there's family and friends that can help out and raise that child. They're going to have a very hard time being 15 and losing both their parents, really. Mum's going to go to jail for probably her life. She'll be lucky if she gets life and not sent to the, DP. Dad has been killed and her life has changed forever. The daughter's life will never be the same ever again. What a sad story out of Florida. Horrible. Horrible. If I get more information about the Tampa one, I'll let you know. But right now, there's no information on if Tampa are going to charge or anything. But the Tampa police have not given out a statement on her as of yet. So we'll have to wait and see if she gets charged again. I'm just trying to see if there was an update. No, Manatee County is the one that's done the most of the work. I don't see anything about Tampa as of yet. So we may have to wait a little bit longer for that one. Yeah. Yeah, no update from Tampa. So when we do have an update, I will let you know. But yeah, I thought I'd bring you that story because I'm sure we've all, if you are someone who has an ex-partner or an ex-husband, I'm sure you've all had those moments where you wanted to kill them. I don't think you would have done it in this way. And as a grown adult, I'm sure that feeling was fleeting and you just went back to your normal self after a little while. All right. What else do we have here on my updates list for today? I think I've got a couple of good other ones. Yeah, we could do this one. How about some good news? Do you guys want some good news? Let's go to We just did that story that was horrible news out of Florida. Let me bring you some good news out of Florida. 43 missing children in the state of Florida have been found and recovered during an operation called Operation Northern Lights. 43 children who were considered missing have now gone back to their families. Some as young as 18 months old were recovered during a 2-week operation between December 1 and December 12 across northern Florida and neighboring states. The sweep included 80 plus personnel from 25 agencies and is considered the most successful missing child operation in northern Florida's history. So let me bring you that update. Oh, that's terrible. This might be the worst press conference ever. We just went from the greatest press conference ever to the worst. I can't even hear the guy. Bro, can you afford a microphone? What? And he's like, please listen to me. I have many good things to talk to you about, many great things to convey to you, but I'm talking very quietly. You're going to have to get really close to hear what I have to say. It's like the quietest press conference ever. Oh, that's terrible. I really want to bring you this one because that's great news. Let me see if I can find a different source for the press conference because that is terrible. All right, we got a different one.
Dozens of local children rescued in a massive operation spanning the Big Bend and beyond. Today, law enforcement agencies came together to speak about Operation Northern Lights. Our Abrea Ruffin was there and shares their success stories.
A 13-year-old missing for 8 months, a 1-year-old from Leon County found miles away in Louisiana, and the list goes on for 43 missing kids, all found through this mission. Let's take a look at some video from that operation. Officials sharing that their most recent recovery was on Wednesday, but there's still more work to be done. Sergeant Rachel Buell with the Leon County Sheriff's Office says that agencies worked by compiling a list of those critically missing kids and splitting the cases up by jurisdiction. Officers went door knocking, scouring social media, made phone calls, and more to narrow down where these kids were. She says when a child goes missing, there's an 80% chance they will be a victim of human trafficking. And so in these cases, time is very crucial.
You would think that finding kids probably wouldn't be that hard. They're kids. But in all reality, they're harder to find sometimes than the adults. Finding them before they find themselves in situations that they can't get themselves out of is important to us.
9 people were arrested for their involvement in these cases, and future charges are expected, ranging from human trafficking to child endangerment and custodial interference. Officials say they plan to continue recovery missions just like this one to help bring more kids home safely. Reporting in Leon County, Abrea Ruffin, WCTV Eyewitness News.
Go ahead, sit right there. Stapp Brothers tells us that one of their drivers
I'm sorry that was such a short video. I wish we could play the 14-minute one that has a lot more details. But they're saying law enforcement found 43 endangered children, some as young as 18 months during the 2-week sweep that spanned multiple states of the southern area. So Florida, Georgia, probably like Tennessee, Louisiana, maybe even Texas. So all these kind of Gulf region areas. They're saying here a 17-year-old and a 1-year-old from Okaloosa County near Jackson, Mississippi, a 1-year-old from Leon County near Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a 13-year-old missing for 8 months located in Jacksonville, and a 15-year-old abducted by a non-custodial adult found in Ocala with the suspect arrested. That's a hell of a good headline. They say authorities made 9 arrests primarily for interference with child custody. Investigators said they are pursuing additional charges related to human trafficking, child endangerment, and custodial interference. The U.S. Marshal Service said the recovered children received medical care, food, shelter, and counseling immediately after being found. Child advocates were on hand to help with emotional recovery and ensure long-term safety. According to the U.S. Marshals, 43 endangered children will now be home safe for the holidays. That is great news. They're saying here Operation Northern Lights was conducted under the Justice for Victims of Trafficking Act of 2015, which expanded the Marshal's authority to assist in missing child cases. Since then, the agency has recovered nearly 4,000 children nationwide with a 66% success rate, according to the news release. So that is great news. That is some great news. After hearing some awful news out of Florida, we got to hear some great news. We definitely need to get a better version of that press conference, though. Definitely. Florida's having a hell of a run. Hold on. Listen to this, one more. And the reason I saw it is because we're reading that particular story. Look at this, what was on their sidebar. Palm Beach County woman gets 20 years for masterminding a nationwide phone hijack scam. And they're saying here she was found guilty of 18 felony charges, including stealing personal information and grand theft involving over $100,000. They're saying she's from Palm Beach County, has been sentenced to 20 years in prison for orchestrating the scheme. And they're saying here her name is Cadessa Sales or Sales, was found guilty of 18 felony charges, including that stealing personal information. They're saying here they arrested her after a 75-year-old victim reported suspicious activity on his AT&T account. The victim had received a call from someone pretending to be an AT&T representative who tricked him into sharing a verification code. This allowed the scammers to transfer his phone number to Verizon, essentially stealing the phone number. After gaining control of the victim's number, the fraudster attempted to access his bank account and email accounts. The victim discovered that his Apple account was also compromised. Investigators traced the unknown address linked to the defendant, who had a history of similar fraud in Virginia. Further investigation revealed two significant wire transfer attempts totaling over $220,000 aimed at untraceable accounts. Another victim from Las Vegas reported that his phone number had also been stolen, and officers found photos synced to his iCloud from the defendant. Oh, she's another clever criminal. So you hijack someone's phone, steal from them, and then you're dumb enough to take photos on the stolen phone with your image in it and then upload it to the cloud. Very clever. How dumb. No wonder she got caught in Virginia once before. She's not the brightest cookie, apparently. Here's a photo of her. Here's a photo of her. This is her. Yeah, Cadessa Sales. I'm gonna say Sales is her name, but it sounds like say less, and that's a great thing. Maybe the judge can use that on her. Say less, please. Say less. I'm trying to see if we can find anything else about her for you. I don't see anything else, unfortunately. And apparently we are forbidden from going to the county website, which I can't bring you their statement either, unfortunately. Let's have a look. Let me try her name. So she's apparently from, yeah, let's go here. No, like I can't see very much. It seems like this was only reported locally. Oh my God. She's a Florida mother of 6 children, 6 of them. And now apparently she rejected a 5-year plea deal and was instead sentenced to 20 years in jail. Oh my God, really? I can't believe it. So they offered her up a 5-year plea deal. She knocked it back, thinking she was going to get off the charges, and the judge basically threw the book at her and gave her 20 years in jail. Very, very silly. Um, Kelly said, "It'll be 5 years Christmas Eve. I finally found the thief who stole my tablet. Uh, Play uploaded a picture of themselves to the cloud. When I updated my cloud, it popped up. It was a neighbor. I hope you beat them up, Kelly. I hope you got dog poop, put it in a bag, and then just made them eat it." You thought I was going to say set it on fire, didn't you? No, I hope you made him eat it. Every mouthful. He's a dirty thief. SP Mom said, "Yep, we just see a pic, but I bet her actions, her voice, her attitude, like any." Yeah, I can't get you a video, unfortunately. Kelly said she moved to a disabled home, but a relative that lives here was able to contact her daughter and notify her. I know she did it. I like my plan better. Chipmunk said, "Glad you found them." Yeah, it seems like people are not very clever. That's how they basically busted her on this one because she uploaded photos to the cloud on the stolen phone. Yeah, if you guys want to know more about how this works, I think this will be good. If you don't understand how SIM swapping kind of works, basically people hijack your phone number, and we all know today phone numbers are connected to our entire lives. They're used for banking, they're used for email, they're used to basically verify all sorts of bloody apps and government things, and even things as simple as fast food or groceries. But they hold a lot of information, and if someone can hijack your phone number through a SIM swap, they can basically get all the information they want about you and act like it really is you. So we'll play the little video for people out there that maybe don't understand how this works.
A Palm Beach County woman faces felony charges tonight, accused of orchestrating a fraud scheme and exploiting more than 50 victims across the country. CBS 12's Jamilka Gibson joins us live from the Palm Beach Police Department with the latest on the suspect. Jamilka?
Liz, this isn't this woman's first run-in with the law. Back in 2023, officials say she was doing something similar in Virginia.
Take a good look. This is 29-year-old Kadisa Sales, a Palm Beach County woman, and who officials believe is the mastermind behind a nationwide SIM swap scam. She's accused of hijacking the phone numbers of more than 50 people across the U.S., stealing personal information, and making unauthorized financial transactions.
They're basically stealing your privacy and your identity and your money without ever having to step into your home to do it.
But how exactly does it work? Tech expert Craig Agranoff says it could start with something as simple as a phone call.
Call or a text from someone pretending to be your phone carrier. So let's just say you had AT&T. They trick you into sharing a code that they get sent to your phone. That code will allow them to port your number to a new SIM card that they do control.
And what happens next is out of your control.
Once they hijack your number, they can bypass two-factor authentication, reset your password, and drain your bank accounts or crypto wallets within minutes.
That's exactly what officials say Salas did to a Palm Beach man, robbing him of nearly $200,000. Experts say there are ways to protect yourself and signs to be on the lookout for.
What you should do is set up a PIN with your mobile carrier. It's usually a free extra layer of protection, but also make sure you pay attention to a sudden loss of service. So if your phone loses signal unexpectedly, it could mean that somebody just swapped your SIM card.
Yes, that is the number one sign that that your SIM has been swapped is when your cell service just drops and you go to like emergency calls or SOS only. I worked in security for IT for a long time. I can give you one piece of information. Hold on. I can give you one piece of information that may save your money and your accounts, and it's this. Never, ever give information out to anyone who calls you on your mobile phone. Don't ever give them anything. You say thank you very much and you hang up the phone. You go to the internet or whatever and you find the official number for whoever it is that is calling you and you call them back and ask them to verify what you've just been told. Never ever give out information to anyone cold calling you. It'll save a lot of hassle on your end. Banks, credit unions, AT&T, whoever, they don't call you and ask for information like that. That's not the way they work. They might send you something and say, "Hey, you need to call us to look at something," and they'll let you call them. Don't ever give information out to anyone that cold calls you. It'll save you a lot of problems. Now, that won't save you from a SIM swap necessarily, but it will in a way that I'll tell you. It'll stop it because you won't give that information out over the phone. What they want is a very specific code that'll come to your phone in an SMS. This is an activation code or an authorization code. It allows them to swap your number to that new phone or transfer it to a new SIM card. But you won't give it out because I just told you how to not do this. Don't give anyone on the phone any information about anything. Hang up the phone, call Verizon, call AT&T, call the ATO, call whoever it is, the bank, the federal government, whoever the hell it is. Call them back on their official number and then say, "Hey, I got this phone call. They said X, Y, and Z. Can you look at my account? Is that what's going on?" And they'll be like, "Oh, that's not what's going on." Or they might be like, "Yeah, that is what's going on. Someone was trying to reach out to you." But at least you will have done it the correct way, and it'll stop you from being a victim. So Sean said, "I got one today saying my SIM would be disconnected. Contact us for try." Yeah, I get those too. I get the one where it's like, "You have a parcel ready at ozbizpost.to or something," and I'm like, "Come on, you're not even making it difficult for us to spot the scam." Donna said, "I got a call from an Indian ATO bloke once." I don't know if that was the ATO. Rachel said, "Valuable info ping. How do we help seniors avoid this?" I think the hardest thing with maybe some, not all, some seniors are very clever and they know all about the internet. They know all about the scams and they watch Dateline. Very, very clever. But there's some that are very stuck in their ways from 30, 40, 50 years ago, and they don't really understand how the world works today, and they don't understand sort of some of the dangers to the modern world. And I would say the depending on the situation, it's like dealing with teenagers, right? Talk to them. Talk to them and explain why it's such a big deal. And the more you talk about it with them, the more they'll grasp what you're trying to convey to them. And then they may trigger if someone calls them and say, "Well, my daughter said not to talk to you. My daughter said I have to call the number back." So that, it's just giving them information in small pieces that they can use. So don't like overwhelm them and show them like a 40-minute video about a scam center in India. Just tell them small bite-sized bits of information that they can use to protect themselves. Like what I told you, don't give out information to someone who calls you. Only give out information when you sort of ring the official number. Um, Stuff like that. I think that's the best way to help them, which is like educate them. educate them, but keep it simple. Keep it like, yeah, bite-sized chunks that they can process and understand. I think when you lose people is when you overcomplicate what's going on, and then they just go, "Oh, I'm not interested in that rubbish. I don't want to know about anything like that. That's never happened to me. I don't care." Yeah. So I think, yeah, just try and talk to them openly, explain the problem, and give them a solution, and just keep it very short. Like, keep it with things they're able to do, and that way, it'll help. Chipmunk said, "I love the one where the scammer calls and the guy answers as Detective So and So and tells him he's now part." Yeah, that's funny as hell. I've watched a lot of those before. Gayla said, "This is why my dad doesn't have a bank card on his account. Needs to go in to get money." That's also a way that is a good way of doing it too. In Australia at the moment, actually, banks are not letting people take out money. If you go in, even as like me, I'm a younger person, not young, but younger. Even I can't go and take out money. If I wanted to go take out 10 grand, not that I have 10 grand, but if I wanted to, I wouldn't be allowed to. Like, they control now if you get cash, and if you want to get like large amounts of money, you have to make an appointment. You have to make an appointment to get money. Like, if you want anything more than like $1,000, you have to book in and go and actually see them. And then when you do that, they will like harass you about where and what you're doing with the money. Are you going to go buy iTunes gift cards or something? Like, they are really kind of cracking down on random large cash transactions from people. Yeah, no, I can't do that here anymore. There is so many rules around it, and they'll ask you where you're taking the money and what you're going to do with it. And um, is someone asking you to do this? Is someone asking you to get money and send it to them through Western Union? They're trying to protect people from scams, but at the same time, they're pissing off a lot of people because it's none of their business what you do with your money. It really isn't. And I know that means some people will end up being scammed, but the bank has no right to know what you're doing with your money. If you want to pull out cash, you want to pull out 10 grand and buy like 5 ounces of Coke and a couple of hookers, that's your prerogative. Um, they have no right to know what you're doing with it. So it is a bit of a funny kind of, like, feels like liberties are being taken away, and it feels like the banks are keeping you from your own money. But at the same time, there's a lot of people out there that don't understand how you can be scammed and then be asked to go in and get money or gift cards or whatever. And the bank is trying to protect their money by doing this type of thing. But yeah, it's a thing that's happening down here in Australia lately. Chipmunk says, "I'm buying 10K in silk panties and bologna." It sounds like a great Friday night for you. Donna says, "My dad has had a passbook up to he died 3 years ago. The bank was yeah, I bet." Are you talking about one of those little tiny books that you had to like fill out in pencil or pen, and you had to fill out like every little detail, like I'm depositing $125, and you had to sign it and put the date and all that. We had them when I was a kid. They called it like the Dolomite program down here. That was your Monday. All right, well, fair enough. For $50,000 of Orbeez or $10,000, that will be an interesting day. I want to see. I want to see your backyard after you put them all in your backyard. You'll have like a pool of Orbeez in your backyard. I hate morning says, "In Australia, is a bank on the hook if it's fraud?" Yes and no. The banks down here have paid some people back when they've been victims of fraud. They've also not paid some people back when they've been victims of fraud. And with the banks down here, it depends. It depends how you were frauded. If you gave the number out, like the security code in the SMS that I was talking about, oftentimes the banks won't give you your money back because they'll say, "Well, you gave the code out." that's your problem. And that's got nothing to do with the bank. If someone somehow cracks into your bank and gets your password and gets in and then steals your money, often they'll replace it or try to get it back. But yeah, with this kind of SIM swapping type scam, a lot of the banks are not giving the money back to the victims. It's happened a lot, unfortunately. Rachel said, I called the sheriffs a few years ago when an older lady in front of me in line was frantic on the phone buying gift cards. We delayed her and the sheriff helped her. Yeah, that's really nice of you. I notice in stores where they sell gift cards now, there's like these giant signs up and they say things like, are you buying gift cards to settle a debt? Or are you buying gift cards because someone says you owe taxes to IRS or something? And they're trying to alert people that they are part of a scam. Actually, a lot of places now won't sell you more than $1,000 of gift cards anymore. A lot of them won't sell you large amounts in one go. They'll only sell you like I think it's up to $1,000 now. Used to be unlimited, not anymore. I hate morning says I was wondering if the banks there were trying to get out of covering loss. They are, and that's why they're doing that whole thing with the when you go in and they ask you a million questions. They're trying to stop having to pay out money because of what people are doing. Chipmunk said, I used to spend my birthday money on stickers when I was little. Can you imagine telling someone, yeah, the 10K is for stickers, just stickers? I think they would look at you and be like, they'll be here for you soon, love. It's okay. Just calm down. Here's a glass of water. Keep calm. They'll be here for you soon. The authorities will be here. It's all right. We're going to take you to somewhere we can help, somewhere where you'll get all the help you'll need. Rachel said her daughter came. I felt terrible. She was crying. It was the your grandson is in jail scam. Like the AI, the voice thing. You have to be very careful with that. Again, the easiest way to do that is what I told you before. Hang up the phone. No one is ever going to get you in trouble for hanging up the phone. No one's going to come and arrest you. No one's going to do anything to you. Hang up the phone. It's the greatest advice I can ever give anyone. Hang the fucking phone up. They're not going to do anything. Just stop for a second and just hang the phone up. If it's such a serious situation, they'll call back. You don't need to be like so in the moment with everything. Just stop. Give yourself 5 minutes to think about what's going on, and it'll give you a minute to try and battle plan for what you're being told. So, yeah. Was that my straight jacket voice, Ping? No. No. Here's a sticker to play with. I hate morning says I worked at a credit union. Fraud was something we were small enough to discover early. We would call to verify unusually large amounts. I think they're doing that more and more now too. Rachel said I was in the right place at the right time. It's very good of you to help someone that you don't know. There's a billion karma points for you. Gail said, be like me and don't bloody answer if you don't recognize the number. That's another thing. These days, most people who call you, if you don't answer and it's something urgent, they will send you an SMS or they will reach out via email or something like that, or they'll leave a message. Don't answer. Like, if you don't recognize the number, and half the time with the people that scam you, they will just think you're not there or the phone number is not real, and they just won't leave a message. They won't contact you again. Like, you just got to be very on your guard. Gary Lawrence missing person. Who's Gary Lawrence? Gary Lawrence. Gary. I wrote in Gay Lawrence. I don't think that's the same thing. I don't know who Gay Lawrence is. Maybe his mum. Let's see. Police appealed to locate missing man from Greystanes. Near where I grew up. Police are appealing for public assistance to locate a missing man from an aged care facility in Sydney's west. Gary Lawrence, age 79, was last seen at the aged care facility on Cumberland Road, Greystanes, about 4 p.m. yesterday, Friday the 19th. When he failed to return and could not be located, officers were dispatched and they are commencing inquiries to locate him. Concerns are held for his welfare as Gary lives with a number of medical conditions and uses an electronic wheelchair. He is described as being Caucasian with fair skin, medium build, and bold. Gary was last seen wearing a long sleeve gray collared hooded jumper and uses a black electric wheelchair. He is believed to frequent the local area. Anyone with information about Gary's whereabouts is asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers on 1-800 333 000. Let me see if I can find anything else about Gary. Gaza. Where's Gaza? Let's see if we can find Gaza. um, it seems like New South Wales police are doing it. It says here a photo of the missing person is available on the New South Wales Police Force's social media sites. Okay, then I'll have a look. Let's see if we can find Gary's photo. That's not the what? How does? New South Wales Police. You need someone to help with your tech. New South Wales. There we go. All right, what are we looking for? We're looking for Gary, for Gaza. Where are you, Gaza? Where are you? That's not him. Ah, here we go, Gaza. Here we go, good old Gaza. Here he is. Here you guys go. Here's Gary, Mr. Gary. So that's what he looks like. Last seen around Cumberland Road, Greystanes, about 4 p.m. yesterday. A very hot day in Sydney yesterday. Not a good day for Gary to be out there and lost. Not a great day at all. Cumberland Road in Greystanes is a very busy area. Cumberland Road is like a main road, like an arterial, and it's not a good place for, like, you would think there's hundreds of cars that drive down Cumberland Road, and you would think someone might have seen him. If I remember correctly, Cumberland Road goes all the way up to Prospect Road. My memory is a little foggy. Prospect Road, and then it goes all the way down to a highway, but I can't remember which one. If it's Great Western or another one. Can't remember. Can't remember. It's been a long time since I've been in Cumberland, in Wentworthville, South Wentworthville, Marylands, Guildford, Greystanes, Granville. It's been a long time, but that's actually where I grew up. The reason Sean probably brought this up is because Sean lives in the area, and Sean also knows that's where I grew up. So he's probably like, you know, the area. So yeah, I actually grew up in this area, so not too far. I grew up in Granville. Granville is like a suburb or two over from Greystanes. It goes like Greystanes, Marylands, Granville, sort of like in a like that. So Old Prospect Road. Okay, Old Prospect Road. It's been a long time since I've been out there. A long time. I just know that there's two Cumberland. There's Cumberland Road, which is like a smaller road, but still a pretty big arterial. It goes sort of like north to south. And then adjacent to that, there's a highway also called the Cumberland Highway. That is like a proper highway, like a big highway. So you got two, but I just couldn't remember exactly where they terminated and stuff like that. But yeah, this is Gary. So he's on a mobility scooter. Mobility scooter. So you would have seen those. They look really fun. You look like when you were 12 years old, if you could have had one of those, you'd be so happy because they go about 45 miles an hour, and you always wonder why old people get to have them. But Gary has one of those. So I don't know. The fact that they still haven't found him and there's been no update about Gary. Huh? New South Wales Police. Comments are disabled as our moderator is currently unavailable. Thank you for your understanding. New South Wales Police, you get a lot of money from all the fines that you issue. Can you not afford a 19-year-old fresh out of college to moderate your comments? I call bullshit. I don't think that's true. I think you can afford it, New South Wales Police. I Hate Morning says, how wheelchair accessible is that area? Cumberland Road's pretty good. I would say pretty accessible. There's a footpath most likely that he could get to and from. Let's have a look. I'll go to a map maybe. Maybe we can go to a map. Let's go down here. So this is Cumberland Road, and as you can see, there's a pretty well-maintained footpath running all the way down the side of the road. So he could get pretty far up and down Cumberland. And then there's a group of shops here that he would be able to visit. But it's a pretty straight road, and you can see there's Australia has pretty good footpaths, pretty good, and you can get around pretty far on a mobility scooter. So if we go up here, and then there's a giant park. So he could be here even maybe. Maybe he went to the park for the afternoon. So there's quite a big. This park is massive. I remember when I was a kid watching. I think they play football here on the weekends. Football or something. Yeah, it's massive. So you come up here, and there's another group of stores. No, we don't want that. There we go. There's a gas station, a little group of shops. So, I mean, he can get around, but where would a guy on a mobility scooter be hiding for over 24 hours without anyone noticing an older man out there just lost? Where could he be that no one would notice him? Like he'd stick out like a sore thumb at 2 a.m. in the morning, not being at home or something. So, Sean said they just added a footpath on the opposite side of my street. Interesting. Had to be spotted. I would have thought so. He can probably go only 20 to 25 miles max. Interesting. Well, if we went 25 miles from there, let me see. I mean, he couldn't get far, really, could he? Where could he get to? He could get to I don't know, not all that far, I don't think. But the fact that there's been no update, if we go up the page, they're also looking for Frank out of Cambridge Park in Penrith. He's 90 years old. A lot of older men missing in Sydney the last couple of days. They're looking for Frank. Yeah, poor Frank at 90 years old, missing from Oxford Street in Cambridge Park, Penrith. Oh, 76-year-old woman reported missing from Sydney has been found. Well, that's good news. But that's not who we're looking for. Let's see. And a 14-year-old girl last seen at a shopping center in Macquarie Park about 7:50 p.m. yesterday, and they're looking for her. 14. Her name is Emily. But we're looking for our buddy Gaza. No update, unfortunately. No update about Frank, and no update about Gaza either. That's a shame. I hope they end up finding out what happened to him. Sean said you should see Cumberland Road Christmas lights on YouTube. I will have a look. Any embankments? I don't know. I wouldn't think so. Greystanes is pretty flat. It's a pretty. There's not a lot of parks or wildlife, or it's very residential. Greystanes is basically all housing. There's very few like really big parks or anything like that. There's basically a softball club, a football club, and that's about it. Greystanes is not massive. Western Mount. Yeah, I can't figure out where he'd go unless he hopped on a train or a bus. That's the only thing. If he hopped on a train or a bus, he could be anywhere, and we wouldn't be looking in the local area. But they're saying that he doesn't go very far. Yeah, it's very strange. I wonder where he could have gone. There is Sean, do you remember these? Yeah. Sean, do you remember these? These things? When I was a kid growing up in Western Sydney, they had these. They're called aqueducts, right? But there's other ones. These are the ones for water, aka aqua, and they run through the suburbs, and I think they're in case of flooding. But they have these other ones that are for electricity or something else, and they're giant circular steel, and they're like you normally have 3 or 4 of them next to each other in a giant area, and they run through the suburbs like this as well. When I was a kid, we used to walk on them, and we used to walk all through the suburbs like this along the big circular steel, whatever they're for. And we used to walk all the way down like this, all the way through the suburbs, underneath the bridge, all the way through Greystanes. But I don't know if they're there anymore. But maybe it's where the aqueduct is now. But yeah, maybe Sean will know what I'm talking about. Sean, do you know what I'm talking about? Those giant circular steel, like there would be like 4 or 6 of them next to each other. Maybe Sean remembers. But we used to walk on them. They're really tall, like they're about 15 feet high. And we used to just like climb up on them and walk from one suburb to the other when we were young punks. Probably not what you should do, but Sydney water supply. Okay. All right. I think that's about it. I think that's about it for tonight. Hold on. My phone has been buzzing, so I want to see what's going on. Hey, I want to thank my friend Kathy Lynch. Unfortunately, Kathy went to bed already. I want to thank her. I want to thank my friend with the person who does not want to be named for her donations, but thank you to that person. And I want to thank my friend Moon Shadow. Moon Shadow, that is very kind. All 3 of you, very generous around the holidays to donate to the channel. It is very kind of both of you, and to Kathy here as well. So she already went to bed. Oh, the pipes come from Prospect Reservoir. I wish we could find a photo of them to show people, because people are probably thinking I'm crackers, telling them like fake stuff. Oh, here, I found some. Here, right here. These are little ones, though, but the ones we used to walk on were bigger than this. But there you go. That's what I'm talking about. These. We used to walk on these from one suburb to another. Yeah. We used to hop on these and like just, I don't know, go walking. There you go. See what I mean? They go through different suburbs. Yep. You're not supposed to do that, and I think you're not supposed to be on them or whatever. But we used to walk all the way down, taking a shortcut from one area of town to another on these pipes. So Sean says they're for water. Okay, interesting. There you go. You guys can see I'm not talking rubbish. They're real. See? They're real. But yeah, it looks like there used to be a fourth one, but they dug it up. Look. There was a fourth one here at some point, and they got rid of it. But yeah, there you go. We used to do this as kids and walk along them. You can imagine if you fell down in between them, you'd probably die. I wonder why they got rid of the fourth one. You can see there used to be that fourth one on there, and they've dug it up. Yeah, anyway, often full of graffiti, often got a lot of graffiti on them. And yeah, you can see they go everywhere. They just go for miles. Yeah, so it must be what Sean said. They feed water around Sydney. But yeah, they just go for miles. Anyway, a weird part of my childhood for you. It's a bike track now. That's why it's covered. Okay, interesting. Only danger is snakes. Well, there's always danger of snakes in Western Sydney. All of Western Sydney's drinking water, really? Huh. I remember if you used to put your ear to it when we were kids and you put your ear down on the metal, you could hear rushing water. You could hear it. But yeah, I wonder where they all go to. I'm gonna have to look this up when we get off the channel. Ah, there you go. It goes from 3 to 2, and then it splits off. So that's where it ends. It ends there. There you go. Trip down memory lane. All right. Be safe out there. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we are doing some Christmas stuff on the channel. Me and Mrs. Ping. We've got Christmas things to do, and we're gonna have fun. We're gonna do Kit Kat tomorrow. You want to do a Kit Kat thing? We've got a Kit Kat cabin, Christmas cabin that we've got to make and eat. So we'll do that tomorrow. All right. Love you all. Thank you for the donations. It's very kind, especially this close to Christmas. I know costs are really high for everyone, but I do appreciate it. It's very sweet of you all. All right. Good night. Bye.